I'm going live. And we are we live? Yes, we're live. We are live.
Hey.
Hello. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but we are live. I'm watching on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it on my laptop. It's lagging, but all is well.
Yeah, it always has like a delay. So it's all good. All right, let me go back to the screen where I can see your face. Hello.
Hey,
I
Miss
tagged
Leah.
you, so it should share it to your page.
Yeah.
But you can also share it.
Well, good.
The last time we did this, you were in Bali.
I know. I've still got the Bali tan, so I kind of feel like I'm half there. Does that count?
It's been hot here also.
Well, it's been cold as fuck here, so enjoy. But I'll be back. I'm coming back very soon.
Yay. So we decided we wanted to do a regular one of these.
The weekly things, it has to be.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, last time I was there, we were kind of discussing the white lie. The light lie. The white lie, I said. The light lie.
Because I just said it.
You just said it. That was her fault, people. You said it first. You said the white lie, and now
I didn't mean to. It's because it's because I've been seeing all this bullshit about the Super Bowl all day, and all the women of color are so pissed at the white women for being bad at J-Lo and Shakira.
You've been doing too much of this.
Yeah. So, anywho.
Yeah,
the light lie.
The light lie. What is the light lie? Yeah, the light lie. What does that light lie mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just this whole thing of the existence of, or the ability for love and light to exist without balance.
Yeah.
And that there's this, that there's salvation or, salvation in the light or.
And only in the light, right?
Yeah. And we like go to the light to be saved. Right. And, yeah, I do not believe it exists without, like, it is just as destructive as all darkness to me.
Yeah, totally. And it doesn't make any secular sense, like when you're looking at nature, and I've got this thing, and I have this thing, that human beings hold themselves in such high regard, like in comparison to the rest of creation. But if you actually just look at the rest of creation, then you will see the balance. Like you have to, if you look at like the cycle of, I don't know, a plant or a tree that blossoms, right? So it starts up as a seed, it gets pushed down deep into the dark soil where, it risks being eaten, it risks getting trodden on, it pops through the soil, it kind of comes into the light through this really deep, dark fucking journey. It's done, it comes into the light, and then it continues to grow, but it's still bearing fruit that has to come through the dark process of, the growth. And even like the fruit and the blossoms, they're encased like in a dark encasing before they kind of crack open and come into the light. And then guess what happens to them? They die. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's just interesting how we hold on to the, why do you think that is? That comes from some kind, why do you think that is? Why do you think we do that?
I mean, to me, it's like, it's this whole like new age movement, right? Like there was something there where it was like, well, it's programming. It's light is good and dark is bad.
Yeah, it is that.
White is good and black is bad.
Yeah, totally. I mean, 100%.
You know, this programming has existed forever, right?
Since the beginning of the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah. You know, Cain, but with his dark skin. Like, it's just, so the light has always been good, right?
Yeah.
But then somehow, like in this new age movement, we just like took it and ran with it. Like
we totally ran with it. Ran the whole marathon with that. Right. Like entirely. But it's like, even at night, I mean, it doesn't stay light outside all damn day. And then I think it goes into that kind of aspect of vernacular, right? It's like, I don't know, I've mind about this to you before, like vocabulary and shit. Like even the word good and bad and light and dark is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of, it's not really valid. Because it's the same thing. It means the same damn thing. But where do you like personally do all of your growing? Like, or where do you create from? That's what I'm interested in, Baba Yaga.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been more comfortable in the dark. Always. Like, it's, you know, I mean, it was like when I first learned about shadow work, I was like, what? This is my jam, you know? But, and I've always, you know, I've always been drawn to heavier energies. I've always been drawn to heavier magic. Like denser, I guess. And, you know, I'm all about the deconstruction. It's interesting because I had one of my solar return readings that I do every year on my birthday, which just passed in December. And I did it with Mia Moore, who's amazing. And it's like, she does these dark oracle readings, and
amazing.
She did this amazing astrology reading for me. And she was like, yeah, she was like, well, you know, basically the whole first part of the year, like your job is to learn to love death, to love the destruction and the dying. And I was like, easy. Surprise. So, you know, I mean, it's just like, I never get intimidated. I'm never intimidated or worried or by that stuff. It's, you know.
Like when you came to London, it was so funny. When you came to London to do the VIP thing, and we went to Watkins bookstore, and me and you walked straight to the occult section.
Yeah.
We're like in the dark corner downstairs. And I was like, oh, fancy seeing you here.
Yeah. Totally. Well, I'm like, you know, my human design profile is a 5-1 heretic investigator. I want to know all the things about the darkness.
Yeah, all the things.
But I was just that kid, like growing up too, you know, like I always loved the villains. I was obsessed with vampire movies. Like I've always been
I was totally obsessed with vampire
the dark.
Yeah. Like entirely. But it's just, that's where creation, like, depending on what your creation belief systems are, but you know, the Big Bang or whatever, that all came from the dark. Like, and I just know that although, and this is what really pisses me off about the light, is that it becomes hard to maintain. Like, it's a hard light to fucking maintain. And I think it causes a lot of depression and anxiety for people when they can't upkeep this projection of the light lie, you know, because I definitely know that the more I kind of grow into my eldership, that I'm more comfortable with the ebbs, you know, and flows. Like, so if I'm having like I don't even know what to call it because I don't like words at the moment, but if I'm having a moment that causes me to be more reflective and more still, which I would associate with being in a dark place, then I get really fucking excited because I know something amazing is about to come out of it. Like, yeah, I know I'm on the brink of creating something amazing, or that something else is going to come out of it. So really kind of sink into those places of stillness, and instead of trying to cover it up with crystals and sage, like there is no amount of sage that can blow that shit away for you people. It's meant to, it's meant to be with you, right? Like, just sit in that place.
Yeah, I was talking about this actually on, I think, one of my Ouroboros calls this week, where I was saying, like, you know, I mean, first of all, like, I feel like when I think about like the creator, God, source, universe, all it is, whatever, like, it's not in a fucking light infused pearly gate cloud filled Greek temple.
Yeah, like, I know.
With an old white dude with a long white beard. Like, that's not my vision of it. And in fact, my vision of it is more like space, right? Like the void, darkness, but like the primordial womb, right? Like, that's my feeling on it.
Yes, the primordial womb. Yeah.
So then when I get, not to be confused with being a woomber, though.
Oh, that's not. That is another weekly things. Okay?
That's another live stream. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, like, that's sort of how I picture it. And it's interesting because I was talking about on this call, I was saying how I have learned to welcome the darkness. Like, I have learned to welcome that because, and I was saying, like, you know, I think you get to this point in your spiritual journey, or some do. I don't think that you ever get to this point in your spiritual journey if you're living the light lie, but you get to the point in your spiritual journey where you're like, the switch flips and you absolutely know beyond a shadow of a doubt that, for me, I'm like, the divine has got me. And the divine is always conspiring in my favor, whether I can see it in the moment or not. Like, things are always working out for me the way that they should. And so like, once I got to that point where I wasn't just saying it to myself, and this isn't like, you know, and this is the light lie, right? Like, everything's always working out in my favor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not everything's always working out in my favor, and it's always rainbows and unicorns shitting glitter. It's like, everything's always working out in my favor, and sometimes that shit fucking sucks. Like,
of course it sucks. 100%.
But what I know is, and it's always working out in my favor, and sometimes it's like I have to go to darker, deeper depths than I've ever gone before in my life. But now I welcome those because I know exactly what you were just saying. On the other side of that is the biggest blessing I can imagine. And so it's like, now I'm just like, bring it. And it's like, what do you got?
Yeah, why would you think, it's just really interesting to me that we've got ourselves in a place of maintaining that level of light. I do not want to be blinded by the light at all times. And like the sea or whatever, like if you look at the waves, like in the ocean, they're up, you know, and when they go up, there's a down, and when there's an up, there's a down, and they're both relevant and they're both needed. So it's just really about embracing that, and I don't know, just being okay with it. I don't know why you wouldn't be okay with it. And I noticed somebody said, who would want to love death? I think we're talking about death in a kind of rhetorical manner of the ability to be able to let go and die in every second if that is what's needed. So like the inability to let go or embrace change is the inability to love death, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what you think about that, but things change in every moment, and human beings have this inability to be okay with change or be okay with letting go, want to hold on to things. The ego is like a cavern of treasures that we don't need anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just have to let that go. So in the way I view death is that is being able to die when needed, being able to let relationships die when they need to die, you know, being able to let my Fenty lip gloss go when it's done. Like, that's death to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just like, I know that creation comes from destruction. Like,
of course.
Period. Like, you cannot have creation without destruction. So very easy for me. I love creation, so it's easy for me to love death.
Exactly. I mean, I love death. More so, I went through kind of like I don't know, I think August last year, maybe it's because it was metal season, right? Because like fall is metal season and the trees are let go of the leaves so gracefully and everything. And I just really sunk into the depths of being able to do that and really embrace like the stillness and the depth of the season. And since really sinking into that darkness, like I'm loving this period on the other side, you know?
Yeah. And it's not always fun when you're in it. And that's the thing. I mean, I think like, yeah, it's exhausting to keep up that everything's perfect all the time.
It is tiring, sis. It's so tiring. Just like it's exhausting, like, no, don't, I'm not gonna say that. It's exhausting. I'm going back to wellness. It's just exhausting. Do you know what I'm saying? It's exhausting to take those smoothie bowl pictures every day. It's exhausting to do you know, it's just exhausting upkeep. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And the power of the mind, the reason why your work in particular is so potent is because it's that, right? It's the deprogramming behind all of that. And the power of the mind, like, is insane. It's insane. Like, your integrity behind every thought is what counts. It's not what you put in your mouth half the time.
Yeah. So Ronnie just said, just say you love change. But to me, it's not the same thing.
But I don't want to say I love change. At all. Why do I have to say that?
Yeah. Well, I think it changes like a part of the cycle, but it's not the complete cycle. Like, it's not, you know, creation doesn't come from change.
No, it doesn't.
Death doesn't come from change. I mean, it's a component of it, right? Like, it's a small piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I totally get that people have resistance to this.
100%. Of course.
You know, because everybody wants to just be out fucking able to like affirmation their way to, you know, $3 million a year and a perfect body, life, and relationship. I mean, who would, if that was all we had to do is just fucking affirmation our way to all of those things, every single person in the online space would be a billionaire.
Literally. Everybody would.
But that's not the case.
Nope. That's not the case. That's not the case. It's about embracing the other parts, right?
Yeah.
Like what you're doing right now. Like you're ensuing some change into your well-beingness, aren't you, Mrs. Steele?
Yes, I am. And it is torture. It's actually not. That's a lie. It's not torture. It's just boring as fuck.
Yeah. It is boring, right?
Yeah, it's so boring. Yeah, I think that's bullshit too. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I just need to start getting creative, I guess. But being healthy is not the most exciting thing in the world.
But you need to get on the other side, right? This is what we're talking about. You need to get on the other side.
Yeah, I'm fully in it. I'm fucking in it. I'm not loving this. I'll tell you that. I'm not loving this death. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it, but I'm like, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you rarely love the death when you're in it. You can love it on the other side, but rarely when you're in it are you like, this is awesome. I'm loving death right now. No, you're like, fuck this shit. No, you're like, this fucking sucks. This is horrible. I hate this. But this is the same thing. I know on the other side of this is like, you know, a body that puts J-Los to shame. So,
exactly. And like, and all the things, you know.
So that's just what has to happen.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, yeah, so it's interesting because I've been thinking about like, okay, we're doing 2 weeks of removals.
Yeah.
So why are we doing that? It's day 200.
So why are we doing it? Did you say?
Yeah. Why are we doing it? Tell the people why we're doing it, and I'll figure out what day we're on.
Okay, so obviously we're not just because we're launching these programs, Becoming Immortal, and it's really good to be in line with the message that you are actually transmitting. But, you know, it's a good time of the year. We're kind of moving into that kind of early part of spring. The seasons are changing. We're coming out of water season, like kidney and bladder kind of energy, into woody energy, which is about growth, which is about change, which is about removing acid and like coming into a more alkaline season, although you need both. And you can't, like, I think how I see it in my practice, if people come to me in my nutritional practice, although I have an integrated practice in my Chinese medicine as well, is that people come and then they're like, oh, I've been on this diet, it's like nothing's working for me, you know, but you're building on top of a rotten foundation. So it's like, you then go from drinking 12 cups of coffee a day, like white rice 10 times a day or whatever it is that you're doing, to going on a keto diet without removing like anything, you know, that or going through a process of allowing the body to go through a natural release, like a natural detoxification process, or not detox, I hate that word, a natural reliance, you know, and I'm sure you can speak on that. Like, you were the hardcore coffee morning drinker, and just allowing the body, like, for at least a period of like 2 weeks, to take out things like sugar, caffeine, if that's what you're going for, whatever, like starches, different, you know, gluten products, allows the body to kind of go through its own death of reliance. And then when you come out that kind of period, you can reinitiate a rebuilding of your nutritional practices or your herbal practices, whatever it is that you want to build on top of that foundation, basically. But you wouldn't build a house on top of ruins.
Well, lots of people would, and they do.
Yeah,
it's just like their businesses, and it's the same thing. Like, you can't build $1 million lifestyle or business on top of a rotting foundation.
Exactly. And it also goes back again to so even though we're doing this, but this is a lot of the work you do, right? Which is about programming. So I get, like, because I'm in a lot of your containers, and I think when you first come into deprogramming, you forget that everything has to go. Everything has to go. It's like, okay, I'm going to do these mantras now, and I've cleared the 5th dimension. I'm going to be rich in the morning. No.
Yeah.
Everything has to
not
go.
If you don't go visit the 5th dimension of hell first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Everything has to go. Everything has to go. Everything has to go.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to what we were saying about the lie, right? It's the same thing. It's all kind of intermingled in the same thing. You cannot build on top of, you have to rip everything down. When you want to rebuild something, everything has to go. Like if you want to call in your twin flame or whatever you want to, whatever people want to call it, like everything has to go.
Yeah. So we're on day 8 today. So I was thinking, I'm like, speaking of like death, I'm like totally gonna set up, I'm gonna do Cambo. This was done.
Are you? Tell me all the things.
With this like total clean vessel, I'm gonna go do Cambo. Because I feel like it's gonna help with like the hormones and the like all the shit that I'm dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thyroid, all the things. It can't hurt.
No.
So
I need to know. I need to know about
to the brink. Go take myself to the brink of death and back again.
I need to know about all of those things. That's gonna be a deep purge, a very deep purge.
Right. Well, that's a good time to do it, right? Like after I've gone through this.
Yeah, definitely a great time. A great time.
Before I come to London for all the other things.
I cannot wait for you to come here. What a journey.
It will be an intense couple of months.
It's going to be an intense couple of months, but it's the season. It's the season of it, right? It's spring. I know that you're living in perpetual summer at the moment, but some of us have 4 seasons.
I don't know anything about that.
I know, bitch. So, but it's that energy, right? It's a good time. Although you guys must energetically have seasons. Do you feel like there's energetic seasons?
I feel like there's 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't really feel, I mean, we're at the equator though, is the other thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just different here. It's just a different, it's a different vibration. It's a different way of life. Like we're living on the equator. So there really is just one, or it's like, it is one or the other, right? Like, so I don't know. I feel like it's duality, right? Bali's about duality.
Yes.
In all things, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like when people come here and they're like, oh, I thought I was going to like come and get so healthy. People either get really unhealthy or they get super healthy.
Yeah. Right? I feel like I've even got super healthy.
Yeah. But you can also eat all the food. Like, you know, when we were here, we were eating all the food.
I've never eaten so much in my whole life. Like, in my mind, I don't know what, I was like, I'm going to go to Bali and I'm going to eat like tropical fruit all day. Do not go and stay with Leah, people. Don't. Don't do it.
You thought you were going to come eat smoothie bowls all day and drink green juice.
I thought that.
And then I was like, no, let me take you to all the amazing restaurants and eat all the food.
It was so good. But the nourishment, right? The nourishment that came from that, I feel amazing. Honestly, I feel amazing.
Yeah. Well, now.
And we're building amazing things. We did so much in Bali.
Now we're just bored because all we get to eat is nothing. All day long.
Enjoy the death or the change.
Oh, well, I guess that's what's happening. Boring.
So what's happening when you come to London, Mrs. Leah?
Well, I don't know. London was so intense last time I was there. I'm kind of scared.
It was really intense, right?
Yeah. So I'm excited. But so second week in March, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Second week after Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Flying to London.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do an event. We're going to do a 2-day, like 2 half-day event in London. So talking about all these things, most likely the excavation of the rotting foundations is probably what it's going to be about. because we'll be talking about Immortal. We'll be talking, I'll be sharing and talking about Wealth Alchemy, and that's like the foundational piece of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that excavating the rotting foundations. I love that.
I think that's what we should call it. No, people will be like, what the fuck?
Like, what? Trigger alert.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that season, right? It's about excavation and re-exploration.
We can probably find a sexier word for it, but
yes, definitely. But that's a whole vibe, though. That's a whole vibe.
Yeah. So, and then some personal development afterward.
All of the things, people. Me and Leah would be doing all the things.
And it's not love and light. I will tell you that right now.
It is not love and light. There will be no sage involved. But it's so important. It's that self-mastery. It's self-mastery season.
Yeah.
Like in its entirety. Yeah, without. Yeah, what we were talking about on our last live, wasn't it? About how we give away that right to self-mastery to others a lot of the time, or we want others to hold that part of us for us, so we don't really have to go down that deep, dark portal.
Yep.
But it is really about, it's that season. It's self-mastery season for me.
Me too. Forevermore.
Yeah, forever. And ever.
Ever. Yeah, definitely. So I feel like you should tell the people something that they don't know about you.
Something they don't know.
Yeah, so I have something. I was inspired by your video that you sent me today. So that's what I'm going to tell the people.
What video?
The one that you sent me in Telegram today.
Oh, your video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the vein of Calvin Witcher's hilarious post that he's been doing for 2 days, his Did You Know post?
Yeah.
Where he's revealed all the things about himself, and it has had me dying laughing and cracking up every time I open Facebook.
This is so good.
My Did You Know is that I know every word to every Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac rap song.
and people, when I tell you this is not a lie, I swear this is not a lie. My mind was, I was like, I've got to tell them the story. We're in like this dingy tattoo parlor in Bali. Yeah. Like at sunset.
It's healed, by the way. It's finally healed.
Yeah, mine is healing, getting like joint Philosopher's Stone tattoos. And I'm hearing like, they're playing like some hip hop in the background. And then I'm hearing this kind of female vocalist over the top. And I'm like, there's no women in here. And I look over at Leah, who is getting down to Puck. Like, I was just like, who are you? Like, hashtag the real Leah Steele. I've got some videos for you people. I've got some videos. Look out for those. Slow release.
So it's true. And I have to say that literally multiple times have had the police called on me for being out in my backyard at like 3 or 4 in the morning, rapping to Biggie or Tupac. So that is something that probably nobody knew about me except a very few select people.
The videos, that's what I'm saying.
So now it's your turn.
I feel like I have to make a list because there's so much. Oh my God. What don't people know about me? I feel like people don't know a lot about me because I'm generally quite contained. Okay, let's just start with every single one. I'm a workout addict. Like, I'm addicted to working out. So every morning at ungodly hours, this morning it was like 5. Plus, I have to work it. I know, it's gross, right? It's gross. I was even doing it in Bali, yo. I got up and I did a HIIT workout, and I did an ab workout, and I do that every single day because I feel like it provides me with clarity for my day.
Very cool. You do an ab workout every day.
Yeah. Not an ab workout, but I do a HIIT workout at least every day.
Okay.
Like every day, or some kind of training of some kind.
That's boring.
I know it's boring, but
tell us something.
I know it's boring. I know it's boring, but it provides me with a lot to do in the day, and it stops me from killing people throughout the day as well.
Well, that's always a plus.
That's, well, sometimes. On the next weekly things, I'll make a whole list of things people don't know about me, though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to be back for these every week. I feel like we need to find a different time slot, maybe later in the evening, so we have more of the people watching live, but we'll also announce them as well.
Yeah, cool. And we were supposed to do them on Sunday as well, but they just haven't worked out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So anyway, if there's anything that you guys want us to discuss on these, shoot us a private message or comment here in the comment section. We're open to talking about all the things. I'm imagining that these are going to get, this one was pretty tame. I'm imagining that these are going to get more savage as we go on.
This was really tame for us.
Yeah. This because really my brain is foggy.
We're in removal stage.
Sugar. Next week, all the spice will be back. Right now, I'm kind of like mellow.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. Those are the things. Those are the things for today.
The things for today.
All right. Well, have an amazing rest of your day. I'm sure I'll be chatting to you.
Definitely.
As my evening progresses. And I think that's it.
Bye.
Bye.